Kaizer Chiefs lost by 2 goals to 1 against Al Masry. And in this video, we'll look at how exactly this happened. Starting with the normal thing. Kaizer Chiefs obviously play with this normal shape of theirs. 3 people at the back as they build up. And then the midfield of Ucele, and in front of him, Umthetwa. Njalo Umthetwa and Ucele in this shape. Ucele was in front and then Umthetwa was behind. And then on the left side, you'll have Pulemodi giving them width. And then Tutuzi Shabalala. And on the other side, Dupree's just behind Etiosa Ikotaro. And then Solomons is not here, but he pushes up to stretch the pitch on that side. And you will start seeing the problem here with the thing that Chiefs were trying to do. If you look here, you would think that Kwinika will just make the simple pass to Da Silva, right? Not Da Silva, to Miguel. But instead, he gets the ball, and then he wants to go long immediately. Now, this is already a signal to what Kaizer Chiefs' game plan, because if you look at when this thing happened, right, it was on the 37th second. What was Chiefs' plan? From the starting 11, they had Ashley Dupree's, who's very fast, and they were trying to exploit the space that was behind Al Masry. And you can clearly see all of these things in games within the first few minutes, that this team is trying to go long. This team is trying to use verticality. By verticality, I mean balls that are going up front. It's not like playing short and then across and then through the middle but they're just trying to go straight up front immediately. And the problem that you then see with these things is that you have Ighodaro here dropping all the way. Some people complain about seeing Ighodaro this deep. This is your striker. And when he gets the ball out of this traffic, the ball then goes that side to who? To Dupree's. When Dupree's gets the ball, he's running and he wants to cross the ball. Even Solomons, as you can see, he's looking at who is in the box, right? Because that's what you are looking for at this point. And as he crosses the ball, you want to check that the ball is crossed at this moment. And at the moment the ball is crossed, Ighodaro is still, he hasn't arrived in the box because he's playing so deep, and then the cross is also not as accurate. But this thing of Chiefs were trying to go in as fast as possible was kind of yielding results like this. Here's one thing that Chiefs did so well in the second half when the game actually was working, because in the first half, it's what I showed you. It's always try to be as quickly as possible, but then they misplace passes, as we're going to look at when we talk about decision making. So here you see the same thing, the back three in those colors, 1, 2, 3, right? And then here you have Mtetwa, and then you have Ucele. So what is happening now, what is different from the setup of the first half? It's still mostly similar, but what you will see now is that actually there is that huge gap in the middle. That is because now you have Usilva, who likes to press against strikers, push against the defenders rather, and then makes them stay back. And in them staying back, since Al Masry is aggressive in how they are pressing, that means there is going to be those guys here, 1, 2, 3, 4, who are trying to press as high as possible. And since they are pressing as high as possible, and Usilva is pushing these ones this way, that means there's going to be a gap in midfield. And since Chiefs stretch the field and ask and force the team to go wide, then this gap naturally appears. Then the next thing you know, Chiefs have played the ball into that space, and then the ball is on the other side. Fundo now has space that he can run into, and as you can see again, Silva is forcing the defense not to go to Mfundo by making a run in behind. So even Namanje, you can see that this defender is not thinking about going to Mfundo because he knows that then he will surrender space in behind. So this allowed Mfundo to then carry the ball into these spaces and then take shots. What you'll find, by the way, is that Chiefs made 7 shots in the second half, and 5 of them were just from Mfundo Vilakazi. That tells you a lot. The fact that he came in the second half, yet out of the 7 shots, 1 was a free kick, yes, but the other 4 were because he got the ball and then he started driving at the person. And he could do that because Silva was now keeping the defenders closer and closer to their goal. So I do not know why Chiefs did not do this from the beginning, because clearly it was yielding better results. So this is another thing that killed Chiefs, because we can talk about the coaches and all of that, but here you have Umthetwa who can play a simple pass to cross, but instead he plays it in a difficult way. And it's not Umthetwa, because this is not a hating on Umthetwa video. You have Umodi who could touch the ball first time and make a run in behind, but instead he wants to trap, they win the ball back from him, now you can't do anything. It doesn't end there, because here's another situation. Chiefs have this thing of, one, there's Pule Modi down here who's very quick. On top there's Dylan Solomons who's very quick. There's Dupriz who's very quick, right? The issue is, if you start watching, you will see that Ucele drops. There is Ucele. He has dropped to come and collect the ball, which has now opened a huge gap for Mduduzi to be free here and receive the ball. But what does Kaizer Chiefs do? Instead of playing a simple pass to the middle, they want to go long. And instead of the ball going central, look at what ends up happening. Mduduzi has now received the ball. They pass him the ball. But instead of him playing the ball through, like that's the simplest pass that he could play. But instead of him doing that, he plays the pass wide. But that's not the end of the problems. There's already Dupriz, there's already Igodaro in the box. Duduzi still makes a run forward, but there's this whole space where, if you watch the game that I analyzed about Sundowns were very good at using that space. You'll find their attackers standing outside. But this is why we're saying that them trying to play as quickly as possible was actually detrimental to them. Because Mduduzi is a forward, right? He's a 10, so he's an attacker. He wants to be in the box. But the people who are supposed to be making late runs are the midfielders. Utabokele is supposed to be doing that, but he can't be doing that because he's trying to help build up. You can't then expect him to go build up. Like, let me show you here. You can't expect him to start here. You see where Tabokele starts? Let me show you here. You see, Tabokele is here trying to collect the ball. Ox is here also trying to support. So the moment the ball goes here to Solomons, you see that these guys are already behind. There is Ikodaro collecting, Ox is here. He can't now make all that run, make all that ground, because Chiefs are playing quick. And it's now up to the players to decide. One, either play the correct pass, or if you have played the wide pass, then don't go in. Stay outside here, so that since Udupriz no Igodaro have already pinned the defenders back, then there can be an option for a cutback for you, and then you can take a shot from outside the box. Another example of this, you will see here. Brendan Peterson has the ball, and there's Cross who's wide open. But what does Peterson do? He looks for the direct pass. And in him trying to go for that direct pass, the ball bounces off a player. This could have ended up very bad because he's kicking the ball and then it hits the player. It could have hit him and gone to goal because Peterson is not even close to his goal. But he had options, but he did not. He chose to not do that. And that is why I say that this means that the game plan that they were told is go direct as quickly as you can and hit them as quickly as you can. The problem with that is Chiefs have been exercising patience in a lot of their games, and then boom. But in this game, they were not showing much of that patience, and as a result, they were losing the ball a lot more. Which then brings us to when they had better control. Like, look at this. Chiefs are attacking, right? And Mduduzi is free to receive the ball. And now it gets to this point where he can play the ball wide. But if he plays the ball wide to Umodi is not in any space. This is going to be a jewel if he passes the ball here. Can't pass the ball here either. He can't pass the ball to the right either, because if you try to do that, let's say pass the ball there, that's also another jewel. If he tries to pass here, there are two people who are marking him. So there's no way through. That's going to be another jewel. So what does he do? He rotates the ball. He passes it to Cele. Cele realizes there's no way forward. And then Chiefs end up finding themselves rotating the ball and being more patient, which is something that they're capable of doing. And we saw them do it a lot of times, a few times in the game. I think they could have done it a lot more. And then this is Chiefs when their press was effective. But there's a caveat, because their press is good, right? It's good, it's coordinated, Chiefs are putting pressure, and then the defender goes long, Solomons intercepts the ball, and now they're attacking. The issue is going on attack immediately after winning the ball, and then having a person who is literally now surrounded, because if you look at this, you see that the people who are around him it's just him. No one is with him. So this thing of trying to rush them and hit the team as quickly as possible, it's isolating Chiefs players, and there's a lot of turnovers. But it doesn't end here, because here again, Chiefs, they win the ball, Solomons, and then after that, instead of passing a simple ball, there's a rush of blood because everything is happening so quick. He chooses to shoot, which does not end well. And then again, you have this situation where the ball was won back, because the whole point of this segment is not to show you, oh, Chiefs were horrible, but it's to show you that their press and winning of the ball back and transitioning was an okay plan. It's just that they were not clinical enough when they got it. But this time around for the goal, that's exactly what they did. Solomon nicks the ball, and then all of a sudden they're forward. But look at the difference between Dupree's playing and Mfundo playing. When Mfundo gets the ball, he's not outrunning or outpacing Solomons, but Dupree's is very quick. So when he gets on the ball, even though Solomons is fast, he's not going to catch up with him. Mfundo gets the ball and then he starts running. But in his running, he's waiting for that run by Solomons, right? And then by the time Solomons has crossed him, now Solomons can get the ball and then he can go and then score the goal. If there was Dupree's at that point, if there was Dupree's at this moment, this is not hating on Dupree's, he's just not capable of doing what Mfundo does here, because when Dupree sees the space, he has pace, so he trusts himself. He's thinking, okay, this is space for me, I'm going all pace. But at this point, Mfundo is thinking, no, I have to wait for support, and he's just pushing the ball slower and slower. And then once he has support, then he can release the ball. And then Solomon still did brilliantly to be able to end up putting this ball at the back of the net. And you will also have Igodaro again. Chiefs are pressing, right? And then they win the ball back. But when he wins the ball, instead of going momentum, mele bafunde physics labafana. This guy is he lost the ball and he was going to his left. But Igodaro gets the ball, he still runs into the side where this player is running into. And then, as it would happen, he loses the ball. You see the same thing. Fundo Vilakazi now, even though he came on second half, he wins the ball. But instead of laying the ball off there, he trusts himself, obviously, because it's on his left foot. He wants to shoot. But some people, including me, will argue that passing the ball would have been a better option. But how did you guys see the game? Have you subscribed to the channel? If you haven't, please do make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Check out this video about all the positions in football.